Hey guys, this is Rachel Youngson from useplr.com and wholefoodplr.com. We are here with our weekly PLR Power Hour. This is our chance to ask questions, get resources, talk about what's going on in the PLR world, how you're using PLR, and more than anything, it's time for you to showcase your business. Tell us who you are, what you do, and give a spotlight to you. All right, guys. So generally we start by going around and asking everyone what's been going on, kind of chit-chatting and touching base with everyone. If you do not want to speak, or if you are, some folks are here and they, they're in a meeting, or they're at another place of employment or anything like that. If you don't want to speak for whatever reason, if you could just type in the chat box that you're going to be lurking, just so that we don't call on you and we kind of know that's what's going on. Excuse me. I did want to let you guys know before we get started that I am waiting for lurking. Okay, great, Pam. No problem at all. I hope that you enjoy it. If you need anything, please let us know, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. But yeah, so before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know that the teen is homesick today, so some of you know how that goes. But also, I'm waiting to hear my sister had some dental surgery done this morning, and I'm waiting for a phone call on that, just a text. But usually I shut everything off when we do these power hours, but if you guys hear a ringing or anything like that, I just wanted to apologize in advance. Okay, so let's get started. Greg, are you going to be lurking today, or are you going to be talking today? Either way is fine. And no worries, Greg. I know how it goes. Hope everything is going good for you, Greg. Okay, Carol, did you want to chat today about what you've been up to over there? Sure, Greg. If you're ready to talk later, just let us know, and we'll gladly put you on. All right, Miss Carol, I'm going to unmute you. Is that cool? Excuse me. Hey, sweetie, how are you today?
How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Tuesday, huh?
Thank you. Happy rainy Tuesday here.
Same here. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, right? Where are you, if you don't mind me, if you feel comfortable sharing?
Yes. I've set aside some of my PLR stuff because I've been doing some of my own writing. I'm almost ready to publish an Amazon book, and am part of a community book project that's just launching tomorrow. That's going to be a freebie for the weekend for Valentine's Day.
You know, guys, just for anybody who's listening after the fact too, Carol's done something like this before too. So this is so great when you do this, Carol. Do you mind giving me a link when you have it, an affiliate link, preferably of your own?
I will
so that way, you know, I don't know how they're doing it, but that way, hopefully you can get some kind of credit for sharing that with us. But if you'd mind, I'd love it.
I would like that. It's going to be free, so it'll be a fun thing for people to grab up this weekend.
Okay, I'll be sure to let them know that it's from you, and maybe put your site in there as well when we broadcast about it. But way to go, Carol. That's pretty exciting. I know that when you and I talked the other week, you said that you were up to some stuff. I just didn't know what some stuff was.
And I keep buying PLR, so now I've got what I need to do is have a plan that's not just, oh, let me grab this and do something with it. So if you have any tips on planning your PLR stuff for 3-6 months ahead, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, sure, definitely. We can totally do that. So is all of the PLR that you're buying in the self-development niche? Is it all sticking with your main theme?
It's personal development and it's health and wellness.
Okay. Okay. So the first thing when I think about putting things to use. One thing that I like to do, and it could just be me, but I like to kind of take something and like use it, reformat it, use it, reformat it, use it, reformat it, and then move on to the next thing. So, for instance, if I had a series of articles, blog articles, I would make them a blog series on my blog. Then I'd turn that into a report. Then I'd have the report for free. Then I might make some social media images out of the same thing. And then I might make a couple videos out of the same thing. Maybe turn it into, depending on where you are in your business, maybe have a free webinar training or something like that. But I really kind of like to think about how to squeeze every drop, because honestly, once I'm done touching something, I tend to not want to go back to it. Like that's just me. The other thing that is important is to think about the message that you want to be sending. So one thing that I do at the beginning of the year is I sit down and I create 12 topics that I want to hit. That's one topic per month for both my used PLR community and my whole food PLR community. It doesn't always happen that I don't have a really great release schedule, so it doesn't always happen that I hit all 12, but it does help for me not to be scratching my head and thinking, okay. And if I know kind of where I want things to go, then for me, it definitely helps me to avoid the shiny object syndrome, which is, for those of you who are newer, where you kind of see this great deal on PLR and you don't know how you're going to use it yet, but it's such a good deal, you don't want to pass it up. And then a lot of times it winds up just kind of sitting on your hard drive because you don't have a plan for it. And,
Well, and even with the things that you'll use, that you can get too many of them they're more than you can use in a short period of time, and they still pile up.
Yeah, that's a great point, Carol. You're exactly right. And the other thing that that I like to do when I'm thinking about like long term is I like those big PLR bundle packs, like the ones that kind of give me everything that I'll need on that topic.
Yes.
So that I can, easily get everything that I want and then be done with it. As opposed to grabbing like different things from different folks. I like those big, like the JV Zoo launches that come out and those big, meaty bundles.
Yes.
Were you here when we did our Trello talk the other week?
I wasn't here I wasn't there live, but I listened.
Okay. That's another great way to just kind of keep yourself organized.
Yeah.
And just kind
of Trello. I just haven't done it enough to feel comfortable, and so I set it aside.
Yeah, I understand that. I used to be, as I said the other week, I didn't even touch it for like ever. Like my business coach was like, "This is the greatest thing," and I was like, "Okay." And I didn't touch it forever. And once I figured out how to use it, I was like, "Oh, this is definitely the greatest thing ever." But yeah, so if you wouldn't mind definitely sending me that link, then I would love to share it with everybody. And yeah, we can totally try to plan out things on Trello. I think would be a great way to kind of think about this is the PLR that I have. This is how I want to use it. This is when I want to release it, and things like that.
Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. And I'm putting up my Trello board so you can kind of get an idea of just a quick idea of what my columns are and all that good stuff in case you want to mimic it for yourself. And you can tweak that for your PLR. If you, again, guys, sorry about all the beeps and stuff, waiting on phone calls, but if you need anything, or even if you want to do a walkthrough, just you and me, let me know. We'll take care of it. Okay.
Fabulous.
Yeah, totally. And if we have time at the end, I can totally jump back in here too, and we can kind of brainstorm how to best plan you out that far ahead with this.
Great, thank you.
Sure, Carol, no problem. I just wanted to say a quick hello to Kim. Hi, Kim. Hope you're doing good today. So moving on, Pam. Okay. So yeah, Pam. That is a sticking point. Pam is asking about those opt-in pages that you get with your PLR. And I'm really glad that you asked that, Pam, because that's a sticking point for so many people. And even as a PLR creator, I have to tell you that it's a sticking point for me too. Well, it was, because I knew how to create it, but I didn't really know how to use them. Like as a creator, I knew what my clients liked, but I didn't really know how to use it myself. Thankfully, we had a great webinar for our PLR Power Hour one day, and that was Kate Rieger from PLR Pump. And I'm going to get you the link for the training that she did. And what she showed us how to do was how to take a PLR opt-in page or HTML page, how to edit it for ourselves, or I'm sorry, how to move that page into a WordPress site, how to edit it, and get it formatted quickly. And she used a free plugin to do that, which I think is really cool. Do you have a WordPress site, Pam? You can just throw it in the chat box, or we can talk out loud, whatever's easiest. Okay, great. So then I think this would be perfect for you. Okay, I'm going ahead and sharing that in the chat box right now for you, Pam. And you can listen to that anytime. Can I walk you through it myself? I can, but in all honesty, I'm not. It's not as good as this training, and that's why I would kind of rather maybe answer questions after you've listened to it, maybe next week or between the 2 weeks. We can totally do that. But yeah, no problem, no problem. And that's from Kate Rieger over at PLR Pump. So if you wanted to, she has other PLR trainings over there as well. And this is her site if you had any interest in other things as well. The great thing about Kate is that she knows a lot of the tech stuff that goes along with putting your PLR stuff to use. And she's somebody that I love to learn from. So she's perfect. She's wonderful. But yeah, definitely. And if you, like I said, if you have any questions between this week and next week, or even if you want to go over this a little more in depth after you've listened to what Kate has to say, then please reach out to me, Rachel at useplr.com, and we can totally have a private conversation about it if you need to, or we can talk about it next week. Okay, so let's see. We have, yeah, I'm really glad that I know it'll help you out, Pam. So I'm really glad that we have it for you. Okay, guys, so it looks like we're rolling right on through here. I wanted to let you guys know that a member of our community, Charlene Burke, has put together a great repurposing product, and I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of it. Let me see if I can even find it now that I'm sitting here chit-chatting. Okay, so what this is it's an info product cheat sheet. This is personal use only, which is a really important thing to note. It's not PLR. However, what it will do is show you how to take your existing content and turn it into an info product. And one of the great things about this particular product is that she talks about ways of doing this that are not your average bear, so to speak. They're not very well-known ways. So, I mean, even things like using it for, I I believe it's slide decks and things like that. She covers in here. Here we go. Yeah, card decks, comic strips, templates. And Charlene talked to us in depth about this last week, and this is only like a portion of what this covers. And I think that because it's only $7 right now, I think it's a really great grab for anyone who is looking to make a different use out of their content, who is looking to maybe you feel like you know all the ways to use PLR, or maybe you've repurposed your content as much as you could, and now you're kind of wondering what's next. This is really great. And on the line with this card decks thing over here, if anyone's interested in doing something like this, please feel free to reach out to me privately, because we do have a full training on this that Amy Harrop did for us, turning PLR into physical products and card decks. So if you wanted to buy it specifically for this, let me know and we'll get you that as well. The other thing that I wanted to make sure everyone knew about was our content repurposing challenge, which is our free gift for this week. For those of you who are newer to the Use PLR community, we try to, we don't always, but we usually try to have a free gift on Mondays. We call it our Monday Motivation. And this week, it is our content repurposing challenge. This is over on our Use PLR site, and this is a personal use only product. And it's going to basically walk you through taking your blog post, turning it into something totally different. It looks like the only thing that's advertised here is a checklist, but I do believe that we turned it into, gosh, I want to say we did something else with it too. I don't remember what it was though. I'm going to say videos, or we did something else with it. But anyway, we'll talk about SEO love, how to choose a different format for your blog post, and how to turn it into a checklist at the very least. But there's something else there, I know. And the last thing I wanted to let you guys know is that, let's see, for those of you who were here last week, we had talked a little bit about how to turn your PLR into a course. And we had some questions on how to do that, how to best do that. And I wanted to let you guys know that after our meeting, one of our wonderful readers, Jen Brockman, reached out to me, and she let me know that if there's anything that you want to know in regards to taking your PLR and turning it into a challenge, or I'm sorry, an e-course or course of some kind, that there are 2 resources that might help you. These are in addition to what we talked about last week. What we talked about last week was Content Sparks and Content Shortcuts by Ruth Pound. But anyway, if you're looking for an e-course, PLR e-course, then this Boost Productivity is a full e-course. If you're looking for ways to create a PLR e-course, then Content Sparks, I was told, should have some content that might help you out there. And I think that might be it for my long spiel today. So what I wanted to show you guys today is how I use my email system. Before I did that though, did anyone want to talk about anything else? I know that Carol, you and I will after I do my walkthrough, we'll come back to you and your plan and our planning. But did anyone else have anything they wanted to talk about before I switch gears kind of? Okay, great. So guys, you know the drill. If you think of anything or you need to talk about anything, let me know, and then at the end we'll come back around to it. Okay, so what I wanted to do, what I've been thinking is, since we have so many great people who come on these calls, and a lot of times they want to lurk, which is totally okay. I know that like just having this time to put something into action is a big deal. It's totally okay. But I was thinking of what can I do to the other portion of folks who come here and they want to get something out of this call more so than working on their PLR. They're looking for to get more of a connection or something along those lines out of this call. What should we do for them? So I was thinking that what we would start doing is anytime that we have these power hours, we have something to talk about other than hey, let's check in with our PLR. Just so that you guys can kind of get an idea of different ways that we're using our business and what we're doing in our business. And hopefully it will help you to think of ways that you can do things in your own business and maybe give you a little bit of motivation or guidance. So today what I thought was really important to talk about, one thing we talk about a lot is the fact that I have an email system and the fact that I didn't have an email system for a very long time. So basically, this isn't going to be like, hey, this is what Aweber is, or hey, this is GetResponse. Nothing like that. However, I did want you guys to kind of get an idea of what I do with my emails when I create them, because we've touched on it a little bit. We've never actually gone a deep dive into that. So essentially, what I'll do is every day when I come into my office, I open up, I have a long-standing Word document. It's called Emails for List, and I should change the date, but I'm really lazy and I don't change the date as much as I should. So what I have at the beginning of this Word document is essentially anything that I need that's super important, I have here. So this is just things that I want to do, like at some point in time on my Whole Foods site. This is stuff for my son, one of my business coaches. This is our guest webinar schedule and who we want to reach out to next. This is our PLR quick tips. So over at useplr.com, we have a section where we talk about different ways that people use PLR, and typically other PLR providers are who provides these tips for us. But anytime we find a PLR quick tip that we want to add over here, it will it will go here first, and then we'll add the link over here. Underneath of that, we have an upcoming section. This is any affiliate opportunities that are coming up that I think that my audience would be interested in learning about. I make sure that I have the date, the time that things launch, if I have it, and I make sure that I have the link beforehand that I'm going to need to promote it. Again, this isn't everything that people ask me to promote by far. You really kind of sort through to make sure that whatever, you kind of screen everything. You don't want anything to go out to your folks unless you truly think it's going to be a benefit to them. But I have that here so that when I make my emails, when I set my email up at the end of the day, I can easily look at this and say, oh, hey, this is what I need. Like, for instance, Charlene was yesterday. Oh, hey, it's the 11th. I need to grab this link because this person has a product. So that's, excuse me. So that's what I do over here. And that kind of helps me to keep everything in one place. So underneath of that, I have a list of freebies from PLR folks and from us. And I have it all under our Monday motivation. So that way, if I find a freebie, I just come over here and I throw the link in here. But also every Monday when every Friday/Saturday when I draft my Monday email, I'm not like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm not like searching for anything. So essentially when I go to make my email, I've got my freebies, my affiliate launches, my quick tips. Essentially that covers everything that is a valuable free piece of content that my users might like to know about. And as you can see, as after I use things, I make them gray so that I know that it's been used. Before it's used, it's this pretty purplish color. And with the affiliate links, they're green because green is how I color code anything that deals with money. It kind of catches my eye. And anytime that I use it, like for instance, I've used Charlene's, so I will be deleting that because now it's down with our emails. So, and guys, if I'm chatting too much, feel free to stop me. Or if something doesn't make sense, or if you're like, Rachel, this is just totally pointless, feel free to let me know. But so what I'll do, and of course, here's our webinar schedule. We have a draft of our member spotlight. Every week we try to do a Use PLR member spotlight, showcasing someone. So we have basically a template paragraph up here so that we can grab this quickly and edit it for the current week's spotlight. And here we are. Here's our emails. So at the end of the day, when I am doing our important things to do that are not that are more preparation, that's when I'll do my email setup for the next day. And I like to do it at the end of the day because it's a lot less stressful. You're not running around and, you know, scrounging around to get things done before things launch or right at launch time the next day. And more than anything, you know, I never know what's going to happen from one day to the next in my business, and I'm sure that a lot of folks feel that way. And if there's an emergency, for instance, today my teen is home from school. If I didn't have this drafted up, then I wouldn't have been able to run up here and send this email when I did. I probably wouldn't have even been able to send one today because I have that issue and I have to take care of that primarily. So I did all this yesterday. I drafted it up yesterday, and then this morning, all I had to do was come in here, do a quick glance, throw it in my autoresponders, and then go back to being a mom. So what I'll do is, the end of the day, I created this. It talks about, it has our affiliate stuff. If I'm pulling any of our free stuff that we went over, the PLR quick tips or the motivation stuff, then I'll pull those down and I'll put those in here. And I make sure that at the end of the email, I always try to give everybody something. I always try to give people something. Not all the time, like every day, but every week. I want to make sure that at least once a week you open your email for me and you're like, oh, hey, I'm really glad that I know this person. Because she's not asking for my money, she's trying to give me stuff. And then I have our next steps. And so tomorrow, what I'll do to get ready for tomorrow, this doesn't need to be here, but what I'll do to get ready for tomorrow is I will copy all of this. And see, doing a copy like this makes it so easy. So many people say that you need to email every day or almost every day. And it's very hard to, from scratch, think of what you want to email every day. So I'll paste that up here. And as you can see, I already have the date, which will be 13th. And because this is the day after our power hour, I'll just say your replay is ready. And then, because I'm not editing this right now, but I'm going to edit this when I have a little bit more time, I'm going to just highlight that so that I know, hey, don't send this out, dummy, until you look at this. Excuse me. And then it's just a matter of going through and taking off anything that's done, any specials that are over, anything that I've promoted 3 times, I'll remove so that I can make room for something else. And changing, of course, the next steps down here. and then I can send it. So it's super, super easy to do that. Now, after I do this, you know, this is an easy way for me to format it, to spell check it, and all that other good stuff. My personal email systems, which are Amember and Aweber, they're not such a fan of something taken directly out of Word. Maybe Aweber is a little bit better, but Amember definitely hates stuff that's taken directly out of Word. So what I'll do is I'll copy all of this after I've drafted it. I'll copy it all up, and then I will go over to a notepad. I'll open the notepad. As you can see, I have all of my previous emails in here. Then I'll just open yesterday's and paste the new stuff down here. Excuse me. And then I'll change this title to match tomorrow's title, which will be your replay is ready. So then that strips the code. And it also gives me 2 ways to make sure that I have my email in place. So for instance, I use 365 Online. It's a Microsoft service, and it's it's nice because if I'm anywhere, if I can pull it up and get my stuff. It's not nice because it's a paid service, and that means that it's not housed on my personal computer the way that other things are. So anytime it's something that's not completely yours, you always run the risk of something happening. Hard drive crash, Microsoft goes out of business, haha. But anyway, but you always kind of run that risk. So I take away a lot of that risk when I create it in Word, the email, and then move it over to Notepad. So it doesn't just strip the code, it also helps me to have a backup, essentially. And also, if I ever want to look for, let's say that I know that I did a promo for Ruth and it did really well, then I can go to, I can go in here, I can do a search for Ruth, because a lot of times, and sometimes I'll get carried away and I don't do it, but most of the time I'll have a list for myself of what it is that I promoted in that email. So there's the date that it goes out, there's the title of the email, and then after that, this is everything that was promoted in that email. My customer, of course, doesn't see all this. My customer just sees the title, but for my own purposes, I want to know, okay, this is what I sent it out, this is what I promoted, this is what I called it, and that way, especially if I know there was a good profit point in that email, I can just go back and I can search. What happened there? Where's that, that Ruth promo? I know, what was it called? I don't know, but I know that I promoted something, or I know what it was called, I just don't know when I promoted it. And the great thing about doing it that way is that if you can find it and you want to redo the promo, you can simply copy what you did before, paste it, and tweak it up a little bit. It's really simple. And I mean, that's in a nutshell, that's how I work my email stuff. I know, like I said, I know not everybody has questions about it, but it has come up before. And I wanted to make sure you guys had like a nice deep dive into this. And this is my system. This is what I do every day. After I get everything formatted out, I have my shopping carts are through Amember, so I'll go into my Amember accounts and I'll email. And then I also have a separate email list on Aweber, and I'll email over there as well. And it just kind of keeps everything simple, and it at the same time keeps me engaging with my folks quickly and easily. So it's a really great way to kind of ease that headache out. Okay, so let's see. Does anybody want to? Oh, thanks, Greg. Greg says, thanks for sharing with us. And you're more than welcome, Greg. Pam's asking a really good question. She says, why do you have 2 different companies? Well, Pam, so I have I got Aweber way back when I was just starting in the online game altogether. And it's a, excuse me, it's a great email system. But when I changed my format of my store, one thing that I always encourage people to do is to look at who is the people that you're going to try to court. In other words, if I wanted to say, oh gosh, I want Pam to be my affiliate. I would really like to build that know, like, trust factor with us. So what I will do is I'll say, well, let's see, what can I do to help her trust me more? And one thing for me that helped a lot of folks in the PLR industry trust me more was to have the same affiliate system and shopping cart system that they had. And that's where the second company comes in. That's where Amember is my shopping cart. What I didn't realize when I first got Amember was that Amember has its own email system. So over time, what I have is I have folks who've signed up like a long time ago and they're over at Aweber, or they found, sometimes I participate in freebies and VIP free gift offers and that kind of stuff. And those folks are all over my Aweber. But I also have all these people over in my Amember who are my customers who've gotten something physically from my store. And that's why I run both of them. If you are not sure what path you want to take yet as far as your shopping cart and all that stuff, Aweber is, I think, a really, really great starting point. A lot of people use it. It's easy to navigate, and they have a $1 trial, but I don't have information on that, but I know they have a $1 trial. So if anybody else has an affiliate link for that, please feel free to throw that in here. Yeah, so, and did that answer your question, Pam? If it doesn't, please let me know. Okay, great. Sometimes I'm like, when I do these calls, I'm just such a chatterer that I'm like, am I chattering too much or am I chattering too little? But anyway, okay, great. So before we round back into Trello again, did anyone have anything else they wanted to talk about? Did anyone who started lurking this week decide that they maybe want to chit chat or anything like that? I just don't want you guys to not get to talk about your business or what you're doing or anything like that if you have something you want to say. Okay, great. So, Carol, would it be okay if I unmuted you? Are you in a spot where we can go back into this Trello app and maybe do some brainstorming as a group to talk about your 3 to 6 month plan? Okay, great. So I'm unmuting you now. Hi again, Carol.
Hello.
So I'm thinking we created this a couple of weeks ago. I think you might have been on this call, just kind of to try to show folks how I would maybe organize my PLR. But since I haven't really done anything with this board, I'm thinking that we'll just tweak this for you to kind of give you ideas. So maybe what we could do is maybe something like, you want to go out for 6 months. And I assume that we're talking like email nurture sequence, products, the whole shebang for 6 months. Yeah. So let's see. One thing that we could maybe do is well, first of all, I definitely think that you should have a column for PLR that you have, that you're working with, okay? Anything that you've already used, you can make like an archive list or a PLR I've used list. And then we can just make a card for each PLR package that you have. In these cards, you can even make a description. So like I could, if I know what's in the pack, then I can do that. I wouldn't get that deep into it unless you know, hey, I definitely want to use this sooner than later. Anything that you don't think you're going to use for like the next 5 months or so, I would just kind of not even worry about it. I would really aim to have a release a month, or to make sure that I'm putting, I'm engaging everyone at least a few times a month with this stuff. And I would make sure that I have a good plan in place. So for instance, if I have, let's say we have articles here, this pack, let's say it contains articles and social images and an opt-in page and a report. So now we know this product has this, and then we can make a checklist. So all I did was hit this checklist tab, and this can tell us what we need to do with that. So let's say articles to blog post, blog post to report, let's say report to freebie, or free report to paid report. So essentially you have a free report, and like to bring people into like, oh, hey, look, that's free, Carol's giving that away. And then after that, then they kind of go through a little sequence, and they realize, hey, this a little nurture sequence, and they're like, oh, hey, I really want that paid report. Some people, my business coach calls them tripwires, but I use nurture sequence a lot. And let's see, it would help if I knew how to spell, huh? But let's see. And then we could make sure that we, like any notes, so like opt-in page, for instance, when we talked to Pam earlier about the opt-in pages and how to use them, we would go like opt-in page, and then maybe the link for that presentation that I had earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you need that, we can just let me know between calls, and I can definitely get that over to you. And here's that. And then, of course, you'll just go through the checklist. If you want to do anything more specific with each thing, then you can definitely make a card for it on its own. But this will give you like just an outline of, this is the product, this is what we're doing with it. And then you can go through this sequence, and then you can start on the second one. So another thing that what I've done, I know that I said before that I like to have at least 12 months of ideas, even if I'm not able to, like if I don't actually get my stuff together and release things as I know that I should. So what I would do is, let's say that this is, I'm sorry guys if you can hear this beeping. I usually try to keep everything off, but anyway, so let's say this is PLR for aging gracefully, and then this is going to be PLR for anti-aging, and this is maybe reversing aging. So I would look at all this PLR stuff, and I would think, okay, well, these are my big packs. What is a sequence to use these in that would make sense? So for instance, if I have information on reversing aging, then nobody's going to want to know how to age gracefully if they can be like 50 years younger. Nobody's going to want to know about anti-aging because they've already got this magic secret here. So what I would do then is I would go and I would just, okay, just so you know, you're doing this one first. And then you're doing this one. Okay, well, this is going to be second. And I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, if you changed it, you could definitely change things around if you wanted to. But this is, I would finish off with, okay, well, this is the structure that makes the most sense. And this is what I'm going to do from you know, this is my next 12 or 6 things that I'm going to be doing. And that way also you don't have like a lag. Like it's so easy when you don't know what you want to do next to kind of get distracted by this PLR or that PLR or this big sale, because you know you don't really have your plan, so to speak. So I would definitely make sure that I had like 6 months worth of a plan in place. And then once you do this, it's just as simple as copying this your checklist over into the next one. So that way you can just redo all the same things, but you can do it with now this anti-aging product. Is that helpful at all?
Incredibly. Thank you so much.
Sure, definitely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't wait to do it.
Yeah, I'm getting excited too.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, I had no idea that Trello could do all this stuff. I don't know where it's been all my life. And I guess it might go without saying, but after I use something, then I would just move it from here to here. So that way I have my next one up. Super easy to grab.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely. And if you have anyone else use Trello, anyone else have any ideas on that? If you do, please throw them in the chat box and we can talk to Carol about them. But yeah, Carol, you know the drill. If you need anything between this week and next week, or you have any questions, let me know and we'll handle it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure, sweetie. I'm going to go ahead and mute you up if that's cool.
Sure.
Greg says he just signed up for Trello. Great, Greg. I don't know, were you on the call last week where I kind of showed how I've been using Trello to organize my day so that I kind of have kick booty productivity? Oh, great. Good. So then if you need a refresh or you want to talk to it a little bit more, as far as like how I label things and how I categorize what my most important things are and that kind of stuff, feel free to let me know and we can go over it. Let's see. What else should we talk about? Does anyone have any head hurters they want to talk about? Anything, it doesn't even have to be PLR related, anything that is anything that you really just want to get off your chest or talk about, or, you know, hey, I kind of have this PLR offer from this person, but I don't know if I really like this person. I don't know like how good their stuff is, or who would you recommend for this niche, or I'm ready for a PLR. I'm ready to buy into a PLR membership site so that I can have PLR automatically delivered to me. What's best for my niche? That kind of thing. Yeah, Greg. Greg says he needs to get all of his PLR organized. I understand, my friend. In fact, if you guys want, we can maybe next week we can all sit down and organize our PLR together using Trello. Would anybody be interested in doing that? We can just maybe dedicate the hour to. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Let's do that. We'll do that. We'll dedicate the hour to doing that, and I'll figure out where all my PLR is, and I'll do it right along with you guys. I'll share my screen and all that fun stuff. Kim says that sounds great. Good, guys. I'm glad that'll help you. Also, okay, Greg, that's a great question. So Greg says that he is struggling in finding people to get on his mailing list. Greg, that is something that a lot of folks deal with, and I completely understand. It's like, there's, when you're first getting into a niche especially, it's really, really hard. So let me first ask you, are you connected with anyone else in your niche, as far as anyone else who creates products in your niche, anyone else who, are you an affiliate for anyone else in your niche? Anything like that? And I know that we can't always talk verbally, but if you want to, or if you have the ability to today, we can definitely do that too. Okay, so what niche are you in, Greg? Okay, cool. Hey there, Greg. Ah, okay, I gotcha. Hi, Greg, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you.
It's nice to talk to you as well.
So, what niche are you in?
Mostly healthcare. My background is in healthcare, so I'm trying to stick to the health and wellness.
Okay. And then what are you, do you have a website up? Can we look at your website? Would that be okay?
I still don't have everything up.
Oh, okay.
I haven't started really putting, excuse me, I haven't really even started blogging. I mean, I've put up a few blogs, but I've just got a sort of a test site going.
Okay. No problem at all then.
I guess what I'm struggling the most with is I don't understand how anyone is going to find my blog, even though I put material up. I guess I don't understand how to get people to notice that I've started to put a blog article up. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
Yeah, it completely does. So
okay.
So essentially, and in a different perspective, but essentially it's kind of like when I create a piece of PLR. It's like, how is anybody going to know? If I don't have somebody on my list, how are they going to know that I've created it? So for me as a PLR creator, it's really important for me to have connections with other people who don't just create PLR, but also create whole food PLR, because that is where my niche is. So for you, are you connecting at all with anyone else in the health and wellness niche? Not in the PLR perspective, because those are just people who are, giving you content for your audience. But I'm talking about those end user type of people who are actually creating that blog post and creating products with that PLR and that kind of stuff.
No, I
Okay.
can't. And I guess I wouldn't even know where to find anybody like that. I guess I could look on Google, I suppose.
Actually, I would really recommend social media. So Instagram, especially, I think is a great place to start to connect with people. And
Okay.
not even in the sense of, so for instance, let's say that I'm coming to your Instagram and I have a health and wellness blog. I wouldn't even say, hey, I have a health and wellness blog. I would just read comments and I would offer my true advice, maybe hashtag it with different things. And you'll find that people start coming to you automatically. Instagram, for whatever reason, it's not the monster Facebook is, obviously, but for whatever reason, it definitely seems to be a great place for people just to kind of find you if you're there. So I would have your blog as your link in your Instagram account, or I would have something like, hey, get this free health and wellness report, or really dig down into what it is, like free reverse cancer report or something like that, and have a link for that in your bio, and maybe that will be where your blog is housed too. So
Mhm.
for instance, I will go back to use PLR really quick and show you what I mean. So over on our use PLR site, one thing that we do is we advertise these PLR Power Hours that we do. And even though I'm advertising the Power Hour, I also have this big website. So what I'll do is I have the Power Hour over here. So for instance, in your case, you could have the report somewhere over here with maybe words like get your free report here or something like that. And here's your blog. Or here is a list of products, and then you have your blog. Do you have a WordPress site?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm really glad you do, because that makes it so much easier when you do all this stuff. So that is, I would always make sure that I use that link to bring people to my site, have that free report somewhere where they can easily find it. But then, since you are going to have a blog, or you are going to have other things that you want to talk to them about, maybe have that over here and make use of this sidebar by having your free report over here.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, and let me know if next week we can if you could let me know how that's working for you. And another thing I'd really like to do is, we have a lot of folks in the health and wellness niche here in our community. So another thing we can do is, once you have an Instagram account set up, we can share your handle if you feel okay with that.
Oh, okay.
And that way, maybe we can say, hey, Greg has this great report, and you can find him on Instagram, and you can share your handle. The only thing with Instagram that I should let you know about is that you do want to be engaged there. And it's not just engaging as in making comments, it's also engaging as in when people come to your space, what does that look like? Because that's a very picture-oriented, obviously, place. So what I would recommend is, if you have, I don't know if you have any PLR on your niche that caters to like social images or anything like that, but we have two reports. We have two reports. We have this free PLR to Instagram magic report that might help you get started, and we also have PLR to social media images, and that will help you take bits of PLR that you already have, turn them into images, and then you can then put those images on your Instagram account.
Perfect.
Okay. And if you have any questions while you're doing all that between this week and next week, especially if you want to get your handle out there next week so we can share it with everybody, shoot me an email at rachel@useplr.com and we will go over it offline.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure, Greg. I'm really, really glad to get to talk to you today. Okay, guys. So, anybody else have any questions before we wrap up today? Thank you, guys, everyone, for coming to visit. Pam says, after the PLR is edited, how do you sell it to the end user if you're not using it for your own blog? Well, there are different ways that folks do this, Pam. Some people have those little niche sites, which are like the one-page niche site where they have just a report that you can buy. Some folks, some folks have an email sequence. And so, like, if you sign up for a free report, then you're then taken through an email sequence, and at the end of that email sequence, it showcases a product. And other times you'll have, let me think of how to best say this. Other times it'll be just a straight website. But as far as getting it to the end user, a lot of times people use affiliates as well. So for instance, even though I know PLR is different than the end user product, when I create a PLR pack, I have a list of affiliates who also are in the whole food paleo PLR niche, and I shoot them an email. Then they tell their people about it. You as the end user selling something to a customer, it can be the same way. You can have a product on ClickBank or JVZoo or anything like that and court other affiliates who are in your niche, and then get it to your end user that way as well. Now, are you asked also, as far as, sorry guys, as far as shopping cart, do you have would you like to talk about shopping carts today, Pam? Either way is fine. And hey guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap after I'm done with Pam. So if you want to drop out, that's totally okay. If you want to stick around, you know, I like talking to you, so that's perfectly okay too. You do have a shopping cart? Great, great. Is that what I asked you? I asked you if you had a shopping cart, didn't I? I'm so sorry. I'm sitting here every time my phone goes off, I think it's about the surgery thing that my sister's in, and okay, sorry. Thank you, Pam. Okay, so as far as website/shopping cart, there are a lot of different things that you can do for your shopping cart. What I always recommend is you start with a WordPress website and you use JVZoo for your shopping cart. In the beginning, JVZoo it's jvzoo.com, and you can house your product there. You'll grab a link for the buy button and you'll just throw that link on your sales page that's on your WordPress site. And then you can get affiliates, you can pay affiliates, you can, anyone who comes to your site will have an easy checkout process and all of that good stuff. I really recommend that for anyone who is just starting out, just getting their feet wet. Maybe they don't have any affiliates yet, or maybe they're courting affiliates and that maybe the person that they're courting doesn't necessarily know them, and they're trying to kind of build up that my name is Pam, this is why you should trust me kind of thing. However, long term, I don't recommend JVZoo. I always recommend it in the beginning because it's very easy to use. Well, I mean, as far as the cost, it's relatively cheap. You only pay after you make sales, which is good. It's all around an easier platform, and a lot of affiliates trust it. In the long term, you want your site to house your own shopping cart. And it's super important that that is the long-term goal, because, and I've seen this many times, if JVZoo has any kind of an issue, it will delay your product launch, or it will mean that people can't buy your product until that issue is resolved. If JVZoo shuts down, which I don't see happening, but if it ever does, then you've lost that ability to, you're housing your product on their site. You know, you kind of lost that power, so to speak. Whereas if it's on your site and your shopping cart's on your site, then you have the power. Now, as far as which shopping cart would work easily for you, I would look at what your goals are. Most people want to have affiliates, whether you are selling PLR or you're selling an end product, you want to have affiliates so that they can help you get the word out. Some folks want a shopping cart that they can email out of as well. The big thing is, I always recommend that you kind of take a look at folks that you want to have in your affiliate dream team, so to speak. So like, let's say I have a product and I'm like, gosh, I really hope Pam looks at this product. I really hope she likes this product. I'd really love it if she would just give me the time of day, and you know, I just want her to you know, like this product so much. If it was just you, maybe that wouldn't be my deciding factor on my shopping cart. But if it was you and maybe a couple other folks who are in the same niche, then I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a shopping cart they trust. This is what I in turn want to use. So you can Sometimes you can tell their shopping cart by their buy buttons. Sometimes you can tell their shopping cart at the bottom of their WordPress site. It will say something like powered by XYZ. Not always. If you ever have an issue figuring it out, let me know. I can't always decipher them, but a lot of times we can figure it out if we just play around with it a little bit. Does that help at all, Pam? And if it doesn't, feel free to let me know. Sure. Okay, guys. So anyone else have any questions for me today? Okay, great question, Greg. Greg says, should he make his Instagram account his personal name, business name, or website name? Greg, I have, my Instagram is under Use PLR. That's my big tree, so to speak. That's what I like to be known for, is the person who helps people use their PLR. So if you have, I would think what your big tree is. What do you want to be known for? And if it is, if you, like, for instance, if it is anti-aging, then I don't know. I would be really specific about it, but maybe that could be part of your handle. The other thing is you could just use your name, but honestly, I have a personal Instagram account and I have my Use PLR Instagram account, and I've never had an issue with Instagram doing it that way, and I kind of like having that that separation there, because once people realize you're on Instagram, especially if you have a Facebook account, is your nieces and your nephews and your children and your people are going to be like, oh, hey, look, you have an account. They're going to kind of flock to you. So for me, it's nice to have that that distinction there. Okay, Greg, thank you very much. So Greg said he just sent me an email. Just so you know, Greg, after I do these recordings, I have to render them, and so it's going to take me, I probably won't get to your email until tonight, but I will get to it. Okay, guys, so this is Rachel Youngson from useplr.com and wholefoodplr.com. If anyone has any issues between this week and next week, please reach out to me, Rachel@useplr.com. This was our PLR Power Hour. I hope everyone has a great week. Can't wait to hear your wins for next week.